Good day, everyone. I'm Nicholas Check,
And I'm Becca Compton.
and today we'll be addressing how we Catholics ought to view abortion. Stay tuned. It's great to be back. I mean, it's been quite a while.
It's been like 5-6 months. It's been a while.
It's been a long
Hot
time. I mean, had a lot of stuff happening. We graduated high school. We're adults now. That's pretty dope. I mean, we can give a quick summary of what been up to. I mean, I'm in college now. I started a Students for Life club on my college campus. Proud president of OSU Lima's Students for Life club. It's pretty great. We're small, but we're building. And
I got my cosmetology license, so I am now a licensed hairstylist. I also work very part-time as a teacher's aide, so that's fun. I'm making money and saving.
Yeah, so been busy, but it's great to be back. It's always a pleasure to do these things. Always great to see Becca. She's terrific. Today's our Catholic episode, so I'm just gonna start by saying Catholicism rocks. We got our Mama Mary sitting right in between us.
So beautiful.
I mean, she's awesome.
Love her.
One thing I did want to address right before we get into the meat of this episode is in the title I mentioned how Catholics ought to view abortion. I didn't say how the Catholic Church recommends we view abortion or suggests. I said ought to, as in how you should and need to. The Catholic Church is very particular about a lot of its teachings, and one of them specifically is how we view abortion. Mm-hmm. So we'll address biblically where we get our beliefs about it, and then we'll also quote some of the catechism and what the church specifically would say, in actual quotes. Mm-hmm. So as for Bible verses, if you want to start us off, Becca.
I'll start us off. So our first Bible verse is Isaiah chapter 64, verse 8. But now, O Lord, you are our Father. We are the clay, and you are our potter. We are all the work of your hands. I thought it was cool how they describe how we are shaped.
Yeah, that's good.
Physically, it's more creative.
That's just kind of a beautiful Bible verse, actually.
Is.
Yeah, I don't actually I would have guessed that's fine poetry, but no, that's good. I picked a few that Genesis 9 verse 6. Whoever sheds human blood, by human hands shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made mankind. And also I chose Leviticus 24 verse 17. Anyone who takes the life of a human being is to be put to death. And I'm not going to go into the severity of how we should punish people who were to have abortions. But essentially, if you look at it, it specifically says human, those who shed human blood or kill humans, and that humans are also made in the image and likeness of God. It does not say those who kill men, women, children, babies, zygotes. It says human. Mm-hmm. Using just science and logic, we know that the unborn are human. And between you and me, I think that's pretty explicit.
It's pretty blunt.
Yeah, I think if you get as explicit to say as human, and we know the unborn are human, that's a pretty good indicator how we Catholics come to believe what we believe.
Another verse is Luke chapter 23, verse 29. It's, blessed are the barren, the wombs that never bore, and the breasts that never nursed. This one is actually in Jesus of Nazareth. It's actually in that series, and man, my mom watched it. That hit us hard. When we realized what Jesus had said in that moment, we were like, oh wait, that's actually relevant to now. That we are celebrating not having babies in our wombs and all that jazz.
Yeah, that was kind of a warning sign of when we were going too far. Mm-hmm. That is a good verse.
It is.
Gosh, now I'm sad I missed that one. I remember specifically the first time I heard that one, I was like, whoa, I got to remember that one.
We heard it.
Guess what I didn't do? Remember that one.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Another one I liked was 1 Peter's 3, verse 9. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because this you were called to, so that you may inherit blessing. So, what this talks about is evil does not fix an evil, and you shouldn't essentially seek revenge or solve one bad thing with another. In fact, you're called to take a bad thing and respond with blessing. So when people talk about some of the horrendous conditions that some pregnancies would appear, and they're like, well, what about in these cases? Like in incest, should there be exceptions? Well, no, there shouldn't. Because like the Catholic Church would say, you take an evil thing and you can respond to it in either an evil way, or you can take it and turn it into a blessing. The reality is, babies are blessings. They are.
They really are.
In responding to that, it then goes further to say, in taking that blessing, you then inherit your own blessing. So by then making the best out of a bad situation, which they are horrible situations,
They
and
really are.
no one in the pro-life group would ever say that they're not. Anyone who tells you otherwise, they're either like quoting from some crazy extremist that they've heard, or they're just making stuff up and they're thinking that we say that. But no, I would never condone any of those horrible forms of conceiving. However, two wrongs don't make a right.
Yep. Another verse is one that I think most Catholics know the best. It's Luke chapter 1, verse 44. As soon as the sound of your greetings reached my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. It's kind of a classic where Mary is meeting Mary Magdalene, if I'm right about that. No, that's not her name.
No, yeah.
Wrong name. What's
It's
her name?
Elizabeth, Mary's mother.
Where Mary is meeting Elizabeth, and her baby leaps for joy as hearing Mary is pregnant with Jesus in that moment. I just think it's so nice.
It is.
A classic.
Yeah. What I think is even cooler than that is like when you have the baby in the womb, like that leaps. So it's an unborn recognizing something, which that's neat. What makes it even cooler is Jesus at that time is still unborn. So it's the unborn recognizing the presence of the unborn God, which is wild.
Actually insane now that you mentioned that.
Yeah. It's like it's not just one preborn person.
It's two.
It is two.
It's double.
And one's God, and he was God from the time he was still in utero. Which
that's for sure.
That's pretty dope. My last one is Matthew 7, verse 12. So in everything, do unto others that you would have them do to you. If you think about abortion, and realism is, it's a person, and you would do unto others as you do to yourself. I don't think any of us would ever say, yeah, I mean, yeah, they could have aborted me. Yeah, they should have aborted. No, not a chance. We all want to be here. Like, we all have a purpose here on earth, and it's just, you can't abort someone and then say, well, I have done unto others as I would do it to yourself. No. It's not the truth. As a matter of fact, it's the polar opposite, because you're choosing your life and how you want your life to be over somebody else's life. That's true. You are now specifically saying, my life is more important than this life, which I'm not even going to, in most cases, consider to be a life.
Another one is Psalms chapter 51, verse
Psalms.
Sorry, start over. Psalms. Okay. Psalms chapter 51, verse 5. Surely I was sinful at birth, sinful from the time my mother conceived me. This, I feel like, represents baptism. That the fact of you were born sinful, but then once you get baptized, what do you say that?
Well, the original sin goes away. Correct.
And that sooner or later you'll be able to do your first reconciliation and continue to cleanse yourself of sin.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a good baptism / pro-life.
Yeah. And that's even like a little preemptively too. You said like you're born with original sin, but this one would even argue that you're conceived
Yeah,
with
conceit.
original sin.
At the moment of conception.
And
It's proven that you're human.
And not to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. If you're going to have a sin from the moment of conception, that means you have to have a soul for that sin to be upon.
That's true.
So
That's true.
I'm just saying.
Okay, Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. I formed you in the womb, and I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. What do you think about that one?
Can you get more specific? No.
Yeah.
It's like
You're right.
there's no Bible verses that say abortion's wrong. There's nothing that says when life begins. He literally said it, guys. You can't
Yes.
get more specific than from the moment you were conceived, I knew you. I set you apart. That's very specific.
And it even says that the mother and the baby are separate, basically, in that one saying, I'm born, I set you apart.
Yeah.
You are both separate beings.
Yeah,
That's
about as specific as it can get, guys. There it is. We could end the episode right there, and there it is. There's your proof. However, we're Catholics, so we have this neat book called the Catechism. The Bible, it's awesome, but as Catholics, we also have access to a specific book on Catholic doctrine and what we believe. So it's separated into paragraphs, so it's not like chapters. It's just in paragraph 2270, it states, human life must be respected and protected absolutely from the moment of conception. From the first moment of its existence, a human being must be recognized and have all the rights of a person, among which the inviolable right of every human being, of innocent being of life. And then 2271 is, since the first century, the Church has affirmed the moral evil of every produced abortion. This teaching has not changed and remains unchangeable. Direct abortion, that is to say, abortion willed either as an end or a means, is gravely contrary to moral law. So, you have your 10 Commandments, but the nice part about the Catholic Church is we have very specific teachings, and we've been that way for ever. And it's always been very clear that you have to treat abortion this way. Abortion is wrong. And it's just the reality of it. There's no, in this case or that case, that's just not how it works. Because the reality of it is, if you look at Scripture and then you look to the Catechism, we have very specific teachings. And we can't just, I think it was Father Tony, who used to call them cafeteria Catholics, which he would say was essentially you pick and choose which beliefs you want, and you put together your little tray of Catholicism. And it's like, well, I do like these teachings. These ones don't really sit with me, so I guess I'll skip over those ones and I'll take these. Yeah, that's not how it works.
No.
We have to take all the teachings as they are and take the church as it should be, which is respected as the standing highest point on moral authority. I mean, it was the church formed by Jesus himself, and I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty.
That's pretty cool. And then one last thing I wanted to touch on about the Catechism is it also says in paragraph 2272 is formal cooperation in abortion constitutes a grave offense. The church attaches the canonical. Thank you. Sorry. Nope. That's hard. Sorry. Penalty of excommunication to the crime against a human life. A person who procures and completes a completed abortion incurs excommunication. That's a big deal. It is. Excommunication is a huge deal in the Catholic Church. But what I think is neat is it doesn't just say those who have abortions. It also condemns those who assist in abortions.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll have some people who say, well, I don't think abortion's right, but I'm not going to be someone to tell someone what they can do with their own body. No.
Yeah.
Like, you're willingly letting it go on. You would need to take a stand, and even if someone doesn't like what you say to them, people don't like what I say all the time, get over it, because the realism is, one of these days, we're all going to die. We're going to reach the pearly gates of heaven. The Lord's going to be like, hey, what did you do for the weakest of my children? And you can say, I did everything I could. Or you can say, I really didn't want them to be offended, so I let them go.
Yeah. That's a big That reminded me of when you said, what was it? It was like get a grip or whatever. It reminded me of a video that went viral of Candace Owens that said, toughen up, get a helmet. It's just so real.
It's, I mean, yeah, that's good.
It just popped in my brain, so I had to say it.
No, yeah, you're right. Just, yeah, you can say, like, it doesn't matter what you say, people are going to dislike you.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, you can side with one side or the other, or you can say, you can think you're being the most open person ever, but someone's going to dislike you. Mm-hmm. What you should do is go with what is good, and don't worry that people are going to dislike you for it.
Mm-hmm. The world doesn't cater to you.
No. So why should you cater to it?
Mm-hmm. So talking about the Catholic Church and catechism, there's this movie. It's called Nefarious. So we're going to put in a clip. So we can play the clip right now.
It says all of creation, James. The Creator creates, and we destroy, and we do all of it through you. We always have. Did you forget your history, Jimmy? Even in ancient times, the archdemon Moloch was celebrated by tossing infants into flaming bonfires, accompanied, of course, by the beating of drums to drown out the screaming. Later on, they erected a giant bronze statue with outstretched arms, kindling fires beneath the palms. And when they toss a little infant into those open palms, they'd flinch at the red-hot metal, but then they'd willingly roll themselves off into the flames.
What does any of that have to do with me?
Oh, nothing, James. Especially since the priests now wear surgical scrubs. The killing takes place in the womb, so there's no screaming to be heard anyway. And the remains are tossed into gas-fired crematoriums. No, James, no. There's no parallel whatsoever to you. Can you imagine the agony the carpenter feels when we rip a child to pieces inside its own mother's womb? Because that's what we do, James. You and us. We do that together.
You're sick.
Yeah. That might be the nicest thing you've ever said to me, James. Can you feel it? Can you feel it, James? It's starting to happen. Your unborn son is now on our altar. Here it comes. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! And all hell rejoices, James!
Now that the clip is over, now that the clip is done, I feel like this clip really hits home as to abortion and how the devil and demons feel about it. Mm-hmm. And fun fact about this movie is that it's the most real demonic possession movie ever. Like, even, I forget who said it was, but I don't know if it was an exorcist or something, said that it was the most realistic to his experiences and stuff on how those situations usually go. Which demons, as we're Catholic and all that jazz, we do believe in demons and the devil and how that stuff can happen. And I just feel like that clip really hits deep.
Yeah.
Especially when he says that all hell rejoices. Mm-hmm. Once they have ripped apart a human being that the quote-unquote creator, God, made.
Yeah, human sacrifice hasn't ended yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it happens every single time in an abortion. That's what the video says.
And the demons celebrate it.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And it's just so gruesome. And the way it describes the concept of how evil it is to be not just, like, killed. Like, it's evil to be, like, in itself, but the fact that you're torn apart within your own mother's womb.
It's insane.
Gosh. Oh, it's like, I would like, it's so well done, and I can't call it good because it's so bad. It's so well done that it shows how bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And it's scary because
It
it's
is.
true. That
Yeah,
stuff happens.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff.
Recommend watching that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't seen it. She showed me the clip right before we started recording, and I was like, oh. She told me, she's like, oh, I had this one movie, I'll never remember its name, Nefarious.
Nefarious.
I did it. Yes, I've been trying to remember. Like I've had to ask her like 3 times already today. But she's like, I had this clip. You want to see it? And she shows me, and I'm like, yeah, that's
It's
pretty bad.
It's bad, but it's good.
Yeah, it's bad and well done. I won't call it good because it's evil
It is.
and well done.
It's very unsettling.
Yes.
So I recommend watching it.
Yeah.
No matter.
Just don't watch it late at night or by yourself. Or I remember one time I watched a video about exorcism, and I did that at like
that one with
it was Michael
Michael
Knowles.
Knowles.
Yeah, Michael Knowles was
Knowles?
interviewing.
I watched that.
I watched that at like 1 a.m. That was stupid. That was so dumb. Oh my goodness. I was laying in bed all night. Like I think I probably prayed like the St. Michael prayer like 50 times before I went to bed. I was like, oh gosh, that was so dumb.
I find stuff like that, like exorcist and demonic possession, kind of interesting. I like learning about it.
Yeah.
And knowing that this stuff is actually true, and I like hearing about people's stories about it. And so recently, since it's Halloween, I've been watching stuff. So I watched The Conjuring, which is based off of a true thing. I don't know how entirely it's true, but it's based off of it.
You're wild.
I watched that. I watched that video with The Exorcist, and I'm very tempted to watch The Exorcist, but the actual movie.
Yeah, just don't do it at night. Like I'm
Just
telling
don't
you,
do
these
it
things.
at night, and
No,
do it with people.
do it with people. Like I watched, like I said, I watched it by myself, 1 a.m. in my room in the dark, and I was like, oh, what the heck? Why did I do this? But I was so invested, and like it was really good. Like it is crazy what exorcists see, and like Becca said, Catholic doctrine, like we teach that like demons and the devil, they are real. But like, oh, it's so weird to think that they actually can have physical, like real effects on the world, and it's like, oh gosh,
like that stuff. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I would recommend watching that Michael Knowles interview as well.
yeah, oh yeah,
That's also
it
good
is,
to learn
it's very
a
good.
little more if you don't want something as intense as a movie can be.
Yeah, then watch something like light beat and heartwarming, like Bluey. All right.
Or Tinkerbell. I watched
I haven't
Tinkerbell.
seen Tinkerbell, and like probably actually ever. I don't think no.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a dude.
You're crazy. Me and my sister watched Tinkerbell after we watched The Conjuring.
Yeah, you're just like, you know what? We could probably use some Tinkerbell right
we
now.
could. Because it's a movie that wouldn't make her cry.
Yeah. In summary, at least over everything, we as Catholics, like we said, we have a moral duty to stand up against abortion no matter what. And one of those ways we can do that is we're stationed here, at least we live in Ohio. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Issue 1, but that's coming up. And it's about as extreme as it gets, abortion-wise. It really is. It's more extreme than I think any abortion ban has at least become in America. And that might be wrong, but it doesn't really get more extreme than this. The realism is that like it's abortion up to all 9 months of pregnancy. You can have an abortion for any reason. It could be the day before you give birth. You could kill that child, and without parental consent too. So if you're a parent out there and your kid becomes pregnant, they could go out and have an abortion. You never have the clue. Or if someone hurt your daughter and decided they wanted to cover their tracks, they could bring your daughter to an abortion clinic, have her get an abortion. Again, you would never know, and the evidence would be gone. So it's crazy. It's wild. Right now, the abortion rules in Ohio, I think it's like viability. So 5 months or so, I think is right now, is where abortion's legal to.
Yeah, something
and
along
then
those lines.
still allowed for exceptions in emergency cases, like where the mother's life's at risk, all the way through. But it's just, 7 to 8 out of 10 women think there should be at least some restrictions on abortion. So it's wild. It is extreme. It shouldn't pass if people are knowledgeable enough about what this is. So get the word out. Talk about it. It's going to be uncomfy, but the realism is this is important. Talk to your friend, your parents. Vote. No.
Vote no.
Vote no. Well,
Vote no.
Yeah, there was issue 1 previously in August. That was vote yes. It's tricky. Now you got to tell everyone to vote no.
I know.
All the signs got to switch.
It's like the reverse.
All right.
Feels a little wrong, but it's fine.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up, special thanks to Holy Family Radio once again for having us.
Yes, thank you.
And Deacon Jeff Compton for helping with all the tech stuff. We had a little bit of issues in the beginning, but luckily he is a patient man, and he got it going for us.
We're all good.
Yeah, we're good. It was great. Well, thanks again. See you next time.
See ya.
God bless.